I think as much as I don't like doing auditing articles, I think auditing articles, at least they give you like a broad opportunity of being able to post articles to go anywhere.
Yeah, I think we're gonna talk about that. I would like us to talk about auditing versus tax because you went into tax. We're gonna talk about that. But now, from what you have said right now, when you're at varsity, you study these things, and you study, you write the exams, the tests, and stuff like that, and then you go to work, like yourself. You are working now. What is the difference, between studying these things and now doing these things in real life? What can you say about those things?
I think I'll just talk from the tax side of things, you see, because I think that's the which I specialized in or got trained in, you see. I'll say with tax, there's no much difference other than now you are dealing with real life stuff. For me, I'll say my tax lectures really did well, or the structuring of the course really did well in order to prepare you. Because in tax, one key element is for you to be able to read the legislation, read and interpret the legislation, right? Which is what is happening in the industry. We still read the same legislation that the students are reading now, right? The only difference is now, after you've read the legislation, from the university side of things, they give you a scenario, right? They give you the scenario, they'll be like, this and this happened, then this is how you solve the problem, right? You solve the problem, you give the solution there. Whereas in real life, you take it a step further, right? After you have given an opinion or whatsoever on a certain matter, you take it a step further, then it's more from the implementation side of things, right? They'll send you the agreement, and you'll read the agreement and see if the agreement or the agreement of that business transaction that you're giving opinion on, did it take into account your inputs on the tax opinion? You see, because there's a difference between you give an opinion or a solution, but the implementation side of it is not aligned to what you have given an opinion. So it's more of taking a step further to the client and say, give me your agreements or whatsoever and see if you have applied accordingly. Yeah. So from text, there's not much difference from university to the real world. It's just more of taking a step further. I can't tell from auditing side of things.
Hey, auditing, you don't want it anymore, eh?
Nah, I think I'm fine. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
How did you transition from varsity into corporate? How was that transitioning for you, especially in the accounting side? How was your transitioning?
I think, to tell the truth, from the principal side of things, university really prepared us, and I applause there, because they have trained us very well in terms of understanding those principles. So from the university to the workplace, now it's more of implementing what you've been taught, right? So the good thing about our CA program or journey is that you move from university, you go into articles. Articles is like training. It means you are being trained, you see. So there are people who are there to train you, you see. So the structure of the program in my time, there is like a competency framework for all these subjects. They'll be like tax. This is what this student or this trainee needs to be trained at, right? And then the workplace, they've got that framework, and they're looking at what kind of work are we doing. Then they try to match that framework with what they're actually doing. So as you do the work, you are being trained. You see. So I think that is the process of transiting from university to the workplace, because of there was already a program structured for you in real life to train you as a CA in order to achieve certain competencies. You see, so I'll say the willingness of the people who are training you are the key factors that will make your transition to be easy. So fortunately enough, I had a chance or an opportunity to be in environments that people were willing to train myself. Yeah.
And for someone who's going to be going into serving their articles, what advice can you give them? I mean, after having done all of those.
Yeah. I think just articles are like a training, or articles are training programs, meaning you are being trained, right? So I think the most important thing, one needs to have willingness to learn. You need to go there and say, I'm here to learn, and I'm here to make sure that I absorb as much as I can. You get it? So when you get there, you get your training facilitators and stuff who are willing to train you. You, on the other side, must be willing to absorb that knowledge that they're giving to you, because most of the time, I remember one time, I felt like I know this stuff. I gave my all into this thing, right? Unfortunately, the person who's receiving it didn't meet the expected outcome that they wanted from myself. But because of you have an ego as a young person, like, I'm still fresh from university, I know this thing. You're there like trying to convince them that you are right, and you forget that no, things have different now. Yeah, so I think the willingness to learn and making sure that you absorb as much as you can, and being there, man. Being there, showing stamina to learn. I think that will make your training to be more enjoyable. Yeah.
When you guys are serving articles, do you serve them in a certain discipline to be like, okay, I'm serving articles for auditing, or I'm serving articles for taxation? How does it work?
Okay. I think things have changed now with the whole CA 2025, but as I'm no longer in the program, I think I'll just speak in the context of my program at the time. You see, so in my in my program, or during my training program, as I told you, there's a competency framework. It's like there's a sheet which shows these are the skills that this person needs to achieve, right? Then they were categorized between elective and residual, right? Elective are those skills, depending on where you practice, you have to know them at an advanced level. For example, I practice at the revenue services. It means my elective was tax. So it means I have to be trained advancedly so on taxation. Then the other areas, they are seen as residual, meaning that you just need to get to know about them, and on a basic to intermediate level, but not an advanced level. So for me, auditing, hopefully auditing doesn't think I have beef with it. Auditing, management accounting, those were the residuals, meaning I just need to know a basic side of it, right? But the accounting and tax, those were compulsory. I needed to know advance of. So I think the whole aim of the program in our time, it was to make sure that you are an all-rounded CA. You don't only know one subject discipline, but at least you are so good in one that if someone can have a conversation with you in auditing, you are able to relate and give input at a basic level. Yeah.
So then it means that the articles, when you serve the articles, depending on which core discipline are you going to be dwelling much on, it means then that the articles have so much influence in your career journey post the articles.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. From what I've seen, observe and see things. I think as much as I don't like doing auditing articles, I think auditing articles, at least they give you like a broad opportunity of being able to post articles to go anywhere. Because remember, with auditing, you audit your accounting, you audit your business processes of the entities. You got to understand the entity environment, So if now you've audited certain, let's say you audited a telecommunication company for 1 year, you've audited a mining company for 1 year, then the other year you've audited retail. The moment you finish, it means you understand all the processes from all these entities. It's easy for you to become their finance manager. It's easy for you to, at least at the basic level, to enter and become their tax manager. You get it? Because of you understand how the business works. Because all these courses, above everything, their foundation is the business. You understand the business, you are able to give a tax advice. You understand the business, you are able to audit. You understand the business, you are able to do its accounting books, something like that. Yeah.
Someone asked a question on YouTube, and the question was, how was it working at Auditor General? And the question continues to say, I get discouraged every time I consider them because I fear my work in audit won't make a difference in SA.
I'll just give my opinion, right? It's not an endorsement whatsoever. The working at the public office for me, it was great, very great. First thing, because of it was my first employer. Always be grateful to your first employer, because that's the person or the company that took a risk with you. Yeah, so I really appreciate the experience. For me, it was one of the greatest experience that I ever had being a young person in such an environment. I think what I've enjoyed most for me, it was they call it audit of I think audit of predetermined objectives. Just that it's been like 4 years ago, so I can't call the right number. But in simple terms, just a matter of saying a certain government entity, this is what you promised that you're going to do. Then we are auditing whether you have done those things. For example, with myself, I was auditing some government entities. They promised that they were going to build RDP houses, right? So then they've built them. So what auditors do, they'll go there and see if those RDP houses were built. And funny enough, one of the sites that I visited was in my kasi, in my township. So when you go to a township and see the RDP, you're like, yes, I know who built this thing, and I made sure that everything that was built, it was supposed to be built. That was the exciting moment for me. So yeah, I think that's what I can say thus far. Yeah.